Top of the day, beautiful people. I hope you are having a good one today. So yes, it's an office day. That's why I'm wearing suits. I'm at work, yeah, but I'll just go straight to the point. Major attributes of leadership and the reasons why people fail in leadership according to this book. So enjoy yourself. First one says unwavering courage based upon knowledge of self and one's occupation. It says no follower wishes to be dominated by a leader who lacks self-confidence and courage. No intelligent follower will be dominated by such a leader for very long. So one of the attributes a leader must have is courage. No matter the time, the season, the weather, a leader has to be very courageous. Number 2, it says self-control. People who cannot control themselves can never control others. Self-control sets a mighty example for one's followers, which the more intelligent will emulate. So self-control is something that everyone must have. Everybody, every leader must have. If you don't have self-control, you wouldn't be able to control situations and things and people and all of that. And people who are actually serious-minded cannot hang around people who do not have self-control. Number 3, a keen sense of justice. A good leader must be just. A good leader must be just. If you are biased in your judgment, you will lose genuine people in the long run. Let's read what he has to say. It says, without a sense of fairness and justice, no leader can command and retain the respect of his or her followers. Every leader has to be just. Do not prefer some followers over the other people. Give them an equal chance at the job. Give them an equal chance to prove themselves. Treat them all equally. If you prefer some leaders over some for no just cause, some followers, if you prefer some followers over some for no just cause, you would lose people before you even realize it. Number 4 is definiteness of decision. People who waver in decision show that they are not sure of themselves. They cannot lead others successfully. A leader has to be firm when they decide to do something. If your take on a particular matter is A, let your take be A. Don't change to B, don't change to C. Don't just be definite with your decision. Be definite when you take a stand. Let people know that you have taken a stand, so that people will actually treat you seriously. Number 5, it says definiteness of plans. The successful leader must plan the work and walk the plan. A leader who moves by guesswork without practical, definite plans is comparable to a ship without a rudder. Sooner or later, it will land on the rocks. You have to work according to plan. I mean, there's no successful leader who doesn't, have plans laid out of how they are going to go their month, their year, the next 5 years, the decade. Leaders have plans. And what makes a good leader is the ability to follow through with these plans. If you're working on a project, your followers need to know what plan you have on ground for this project to be successfully executed. And they need to see you follow through with those plans. Number 6 says the habit of doing more than paid for. One of the penalties of leadership is the necessity of willingness upon the part of the leaders to do more than they require of their followers. I have leaders I look up to, my bosses in the office, and leaders, in every other sphere of life. They actually work much more than the other people in the office. Do you get? They go the extra mile. They do the extra. Leaders don't stop where the followers stop. Leaders go 10,000 miles farther than the followers. So the willingness to do much more than is required, much more than you are paid for, is one of the penalties of leadership. Number 7, a pleasing personality. A pleasing personality. I don't think you want to hang around a leader who is rude and unpleasant, a leader who puts people down. Nobody wants to do that. So it says, no slovenly, careless person can become a successful leader. Leadership calls for respect. Followers will not respect leaders who do not score highly on all factors of a pleasing personality. A pleasing leader will respect his followers. A leader with a pleasing personality, will respect his or her followers. A leader with a pleasing personality would know how not to demoralize his or her followers, because sometimes your leaders are not, your followers are not, the best of themselves. You are expected as a leader to have a high level of emotional intelligence to detect when your people have dropped enthusiasm. You have to be there to pull them out. And you know what is funny, yeah? Everybody expects that a leader has it all figured out. But man, that's it. It can be sometimes unfair to the human beings who are occupying the position of leadership. But you said you're a leader, you must have tough skin. When you break down, you should look for people who are higher than yourself in rank to get encouragement, to get yourself juiced up or fired up again. But it is your responsibility to maintain a pleasing personality at all times, so that your followers can, love to want to hang around you. It also allows them to open up to you and tell you things about their personal lives, other than the job, other than the task, other than the project. You get? If you don't have a pleasing personality, you cannot affect your followers to such an extent. So please cultivate the habit of a pleasing personality. It's not easy, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. But you have a job. You have to find a way to do it. And that job is to lead people and lead them right. Number 8, sympathy and understanding. Successful leaders must be in sympathy with their followers. Moreover, they must understand them and their problems. We just talked about that. It just follows. A pleasing personality, you have to be sympathetic, and understanding. It takes a whole lot to be all of these things, because sometimes you're expecting that a follower of yours is supposed to have delivered on a job, and maybe they are having crisis at home, or their kid is sick, or they are just going through one thing or the other. It is our job, your job, my job, everyone's job as a leader to always try and be understanding when it is needed and be sympathetic. Your job is not just to do the job. Your job is not just to make the people do the job. Your job is to also give them a conducive environment where they can do the job. If you are a toxic person, you don't understand your people, you just want them to deliver, they are being paid for the job, and that's it. People will never want to work with you, because life is not just about work. Life is associated with, troubles. Your followers may have troubles. They expect you to understand, especially if they are not the excuse-giving people. Once in a while they have these troubles. They be like, I expected my boss to understand that this is not the usual me. I am going through a lot. So our followers expect us to understand them, to sympathize with them, they want to be able to open up to us. Everybody wants to talk to somebody. So don't be that boss whose followers do not want to relate with. Number 9, mastery of detail. Successful leadership calls for mastery of details of the leader's position. Yes, you have heard some people who are leaders in quotes. You ask them, okay, this is your department. Can you tell us something happened yesterday? Blah blah blah. Can we find out why Paul, why Gabriel, why this person did this, that, and they'll be like, oh, sorry, let me ask my assistant. Wow, are you serious? Nothing is supposed to skip the leader. Every leader is supposed to know every teeny tiny detail about the people, about the department, about the job he or she has been given to do. A leader is a head servant. You are not, like Lord of Lords. You are like the head servant. So they said, I need you to organize people to move this chair. It means you are the first person who is supposed to be moving the chair before you even require help from other people. So if you tell me you don't know what's going to cost you to move the chair and all of that, you're not a good leader. You're supposed to have the detail, every teeny tiny detail of every job and about your job and about your position. Yeah, so I hope I'm making sense. So number 10, willingness to assume full responsibility. Say successful leaders must be willing to assume responsibility for the mistakes and shortcomings of their followers. A lot of leaders evade this, trust me. I have seen leaders who do not take responsibility. I have worked with them, I have seen them. It's such an irresponsible thing to be or do as a leader. If your department, if your team is failing, you are supposed to assume full responsibility, irrespective of whose fault it was. It goes ahead to say, if they try to shift this responsibility, they will not remain leaders. If followers make mistakes and become incompetent, it is the leader who has failed. But a lot of people do not understand this about leadership. So they just call out everybody, whoever it is who failed in their team and put the person up, for destruction. Yeah, but a leader should take full responsibility of praise or query. Yes, that is what leadership is about. Last but not the least on his, attributes of leadership is cooperation. Successful leaders must understand and apply the principle of cooperative effort and be able to induce followers to do the same. Leadership calls for power and power calls for cooperation. Are you a kind of leader who is able to, bring people together and let them work? If you cannot cooperate with people, you're supposed to be able to, harness efforts. Cynthia can do this, Joy can do this, Tracy can do this. We bring them together to be able to cooperate towards achieving the primary goal. That is what leaders are supposed to do. Do you understand? It says they must understand and apply the principle of cooperative effort. But if you do not know how to work with people, how will you make them cooperate? You have to understand this and work on it as a leader to be successful, because leadership is about organization and control of people. So if you cannot control people to cooperate, I don't think you should be vying for the position of leadership. Yep. So that's that about the major attributes of leadership as listed by the author.